This is part 1 of the chapter Our Environment, Standard 10 Science. This is a very important chapter because it is related to today's scenario in the world. So we should be knowing what is our environment, what are the things affecting the environment, which are the abiotic and biotic components, how they are interacted, how uh, toxic substances enter our system, and all these things. So we start with this. Our environment, this is a concept mat. It contains of biodegradable substances, non-biodegradable substances, and then it has an ecosystem. In that ecosystem, it is made up of two things. It is a natural ecosystem which has been created naturally, for example deserts, forests and ponds, and also there is an artificial ecosystem which is man has created, crops, gardens, aquariums, amusement parks, all those are uh, artificial ecosystems. Now talking about this concept map, the ecosystem mainly consists of biotic and abiotic factors, which we'll be discussing later. Biotic means the living part of that environment, animals and plants. Abiotic means which are other ones. Others means which are related to life but they are not living. Then talking of biotic components, there are three. It can be classified into three further parts: producers, consumers and decompose. So consumers are further classified as herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. So this we will be discussing later. Of course, producers are the only thing which can produce food, which are the green plants, and there are decomposers also which play a very important part in the environment. So we will be seeing what terms are there. There are some terms which we should know. So what is the basic definition or the meaning of an environment? It is the sum total of all external conditions that affects the life and development of an organism. It consists abiotic means physical and biotic factors which are biological. Then we come to classification of substances as biodegradable and non-biodegradable. This is a very important issue nowadays. We are producing so many things, we are developing new things, but we should always keep in mind whether these after the use are biodegradable or not. Biodegradable substances are playing havoc with the environment and it will lead to dangerous situations where human life and plant life and in general organisms life will be endangered. So what do you mean by non-biodegradable substances? They are those substances which cannot be broken down into simpler harmless substances in nature. They can be solids, liquids or gases, and they can accumulate in nature. The accumulation is posing a threat or a risk to the environment. What are these examples? Plastics, polystyrene, aluminum cans which we are frequently using, toxic chemicals, paints, tires, polythene bags, DDT, then radioactive waste which is a very hot issue nowadays, mercury and pesticides. The rampant use of fertilizers, pesticides containing full of chemicals has increased due to the increased population and the demand for food, but this in fact has a reverse effect on the environment also. The next is biodegradable substances. So what are those biodegradable substances? These are the substances which can be broken down into simpler harmless substances. So when it is broken down, it can be simpler and it is harmless to the living things. And who does this? It is done by decomposers such as microorganisms. So these microorganisms which are classified as decomposers play a very important part. So which are these? So which are these biodegradable substances? The food wastes, veg peels, fruit peels, dead plants and animals which fall on the ground, eggshells. Then we have garden wastes, paper materials. Paper also can be biodegradable, but still since paper leads to cutting down of trees, we still have a motto nowadays, it should be a paperless transactions. That is the reason. Otherwise paper is biodegradable. Agricultural residue, wood, cloth, cattle dung, fecal matter, sewage, urine, all these are biodegradable. Then comes a term called ecosystem. So what does an ecosystem is? It is a system or a community or a group of living things that live in and they interact with each other in a specific environment. So the whole system is an ecosystem. So it is a structural and functional unit of the biosphere, and it consists of non-living things and living things living together comfortably. So it is a set system where most importantly energy and matter are exchanged between living and non-living things. Then comes a biotic component. Now this ecosystem consists of biotic and abiotic. So biotic means all the living parts of components of that ecosystem. These are plants and animals and microorganisms by bacteria and fungi. Then what are the abiotic components? Now these components are themselves not living, but they are very important for the sustenance of life in an ecosystem. What are these? Light, water, radiation, temperature, humidity, atmosphere, soil, etc. Without this, life would not have been possible. So when we are talking of ecosystems, so how many types of ecosystems are there? So there are basically two types. One is called natural. Natural can be further classified as terrestrial or aquatic. In this natural system, man has nothing to do. It has been developed on its own. So a terrestrial, for example, forest, grasslands and deserts, no person has been involved in growing or maintaining of all these things. Second is an aquatic, in which ponds, lakes, rivers and oceans are formed. So man has nothing to do with this. So it is a natural ecosystem. Then comes the second part called the artificial ecosystem. Of course, now these are controlled by man and made by man. What are the examples? Gardens, parks, aquariums, all these things. They are. So when we are talking of environment, we are always talking of dangers to the environment. One of the dangers is addition of waste. So what happens when wastes are added to the environment? Who adds the waste? It is the humans only who are adding the waste. So a lot of waste is generated. Now waste is generated because of complex food demand, because of packaging and because of different living styles. So we are generating more waste than what we were doing say 50 years ago. Now when this waste is added, the problem is it pollutes the environment, and it pollutes the air, the soil, the water, everything around you is polluted, and this polluted contains pollutants which ultimately will affect the health of plants and animals. It also has a disturbing effect on the sensitive ecological balance in the food chain, and it can cause harm also. So which are these? Which are those? So which can cause harm? This is mercury, aluminium, radioactive waste, polythene. All these are the things which can, and most importantly plastics. So plastics are being banned now with a fierce this thing. This is the only way how a ban can be implemented, by fining the people and stopping the production of very thin non-biodegradable plastics. So which are the different parts of a biotic component? The different parts of a biotic component are the producers. Now we should remember that green plants are the only producers in the world. What do they contain? So they produce food, and importantly they have a pigment called green pigment, chlorophyll, which helps in trapping the sunlight. Now these green plants or producers, they perform photosynthesis or production of food using carbon dioxide available in atmosphere, water and sunlight, and they convert all this into inorganic and organic substances. So all green plants are co-producers, and also blue-green algae. The next one comes consumers. So who are the consumers? Consumers are the things which are not the producers. It means they depend on the producers directly or indirectly for their nutrition. So such consumers are also called as heterotrophs, whereas producers are called autotrophs. Auto means self. So autotrophs or the producers, they themselves make the food, whereas heterotrophs, they do not make the food, but they depend on the plants to produce for food. Now this is what happened. Now these consumers can be further classified into, broadly classified into herbivores, Herbivorous are the animals which consume only vegetation, rabbits, deers, cows and all that. Carnivores, second is carnivores. They are the animals which live on the meat of other animals, lions, tigers, wolves and all that. Then there are some consumers who can do both the things. It means veg and non-veg. So omnivores are the things which both eat plants and animals. Humans, crows, bears, cockroaches, cats, dogs, they are omnivores. When comes a very important part of this called decomposers. So what are decomposers? So they are the microorganisms which break down dead and decaying organisms, animals and plants into simpler organic substances. Now they play a very important part in the environment, otherwise pollution levels will go up. So these degrade, they decompose, all these things break down into simpler substances such that all these are then remixed into the ground, the earth, and a recycling of this goes on. So this is done by a most important organisms called decomposers. The most glaring examples of decomposers are bacteria and fungi. Some very important thing related to environment is a food chain. So what is a food chain? Food chain in simple shows us the relation of the producers and the consumers, and it is simply called who eats whom. Now every animal is the food of the other animal. So in this, matter and energy are transferred from one animal to the other, and this creates a food chain. So it is a series of organisms taking part at various levels from the producers and they end in the consumers. So there are three basic types. So all food chains consist of the three things. It always starts from the producers. Remember, producers are food producing green plants, then which are eaten by herbivores and which ultimately are eaten by carnivores. So this is the basic things. So there are some general food chains which can be seen. One is called the predator chain, plant eaten by plant eating animals which are then eaten by flesh eating animals called predators. Next is a parasitic chain. Parasitic chains means the parasites enter the body of the host and live on the host. So host, parasitic organisms and bigger organisms. Then there is a saprophytic chain. Saprophytes are the decomposers or the bacteria called saprophytes which live on dead organic matter consisting of plants and animals. So this is dead organic. So what are the examples of food chain? In our daily life we can just see grass which is eaten by the grasshopper, which is eaten by a frog, which is in fact eaten by a snake, and the eagle. Then if you see a food chain in an aquatic ecosystem, it is the phytoplankton which are the producers, which are the plants in water. Then they are eaten by zooplanktons, the herbivores, which are further devoured by crustaceans or the carnivores. They are eaten by fish, again carnivores, and ultimately comes the crane which eats all the fishes. So when we are talking of food chain, so there are different levels. So what are these levels? So these are called as trophic level. So what is a trophic level? So it is a particular, in a particular food chain there is a different levels in which who eats whom. So the first trophic level are the producers or the autotrophs. Always at the bottom of any trophic level, the basic, it is the producers or autotrophs. Now what do? They will trap the energy. Using the sun's energy they produce food. Now these are then shifted to the second trophic level. In second trophic level lie the primary consumers or the herbivores, because it is these who eat the plants. Third level consists of carnivores or secondary consumers, and in the fourth, the topmost level, there comes the tertiary. So we can see this a big diagram. It's a very nice diagram showing primary consumers at the bottom. Then you have these are the primary producers, then come the primary consumers, then come the secondary, and then comes the tertiary. So this is why it is called a trophic levels. Then we come to this is what is shown in the flow chart here: food web, food chain, trophic levels. Then we have producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. Now comes the question, why is a food chain so important? So food chain is important because the situation is created where one animal is the food of the other animals. It will maintain a check on the population. Most importantly, the ecosystem is automatically balanced. This is the first significance. Second point is, energy in the form of food is completely transferred between food chains. So the lower organism will give energy to the higher one, that will give energy to the higher one. So it will help to maintain an equilibrium in the ecosystem. Food chains also help us to understand the interaction and interdependence of different organisms in an area, who eats whom. That is what we have talked about. So it can only be possible because of the food chain. And most importantly, and of very much importance, is the movement of toxic materials. So we can understand how toxic materials are moving in an ecosystem, and we can also understand the problem of biological magnification. Then we come to a small, if called as food web. So what is the food web? It is a network of food chain. Food chain is only one, but if they are interconnected with each other, it will make a big web, and that web is called a food web. Now an organism can occupy a position in one or more food chains. So if it is in second level, next it can be in third level. So that becomes a very this thing. So grass can be eaten by a grasshopper, or it can be a rabbit, or it can be a cattle, and each of these herbivores can be eaten by many carnivores, by frog, by a bird, by a tiger. So it is not just one chain, it is a mixture of chains. So we can just see the differences between a food web and a food chain. First is, food web is a group of networks showing the flow of energy, whereas this is a linear pathway, it is a single pathway, single. Food web, it has a role in improving the adaptability and competitiveness of an organism. So those who are more competitive and adaptive only can survive. This food chain, it has no effect on the compatibility or competitiveness of an organism. Now in food web, an organism of higher trophic level has access to more members of the lower trophic level, because it is a big web, whereas here it is not having much. So an organism of higher trophic level feeds on a specific organism. So it is one simple this. So this is what is called a food web, and these are the differences between a food web and a food chain. Thank you.